well, actually it's not hardcore. I used to love trying to push RX, and I love a lot of people want to push RX and that sort of stuff. But I still scale all the time. I look at the week and I'm like, okay, I'm going to scale that, because I know if I do that together, I'm going to feel like this. And that takes time too. Like, it's a time learnt thing. But for me, it's honestly one of the smartest things to do. If you can learn when to scale and how to scale so that you can keep training well, you'll go so much further. And it's a hard thing to learn because obviously a lot of people have goals, they want to do it, and they think that more is more, and often less is more, and doing it in a smarter way. So to scale, focus on your goals. So if you are in the middle of a gymnastics cycle, you're trying to get a ring muscle up, my effort is going to 100% gymnastics days, and I'm putting 60% into my squat days, for example. So that I can put as much effort in, and I'm going to just back off on that, because that squatting, if I want to do that at the same time, adds to that whole load and stress. And then that's compounding on trying to do this. And then if I'm too sore, my performance is down and I'm not getting what I want out of it. And then lastly, bang bust cycle. This is probably a little bit more rehab focused. Is shoulder starting to feel good. I use shoulder a lot because that's where I've had lots of injuries. Shoulder's feeling good, seen the physio, had a bit of rehab, had a bit of soft tissue, symptoms are calming down. All right, I'm back to where I am. And then you jump into some kipping pull-ups, and then you just ping your shoulder again. See it all the time. I've done it 10,000 times, and I'll probably still do it in the future. Just because you're out of pain doesn't mean your performance is back. Pain will inhibit a lot of things, and strength is one of them. And if you've been in pain for a long time, or you've been avoiding movements for a long time, you are not conditioned to where you were previously before you get injured. So that time course of going from symptoms to full rehab to return to sport is a lot longer than what a lot of people realize and a lot of people want to commit to. So I guess also for coaches, just trying to be aware of that and trying to talk to people once they're coming back in. And at the end of the day, for me, scaling teaches you to train smarter. I enjoy it a lot more with scaling because I don't feel as beaten up at the end of the week than what I used to after 6 days of training. So for me, planning, love to plan. I look at it weekly. Do you guys release your programming for the week or night before?
Weekly.
Weekly? Yes, sweet. So that's what I like. For me, I would encourage my athletes to look at the week, especially for those that I guess let me define. Some people just want to come in and train, and that's fine, and they don't have too many goals. They're here just for the social and that sort of stuff. That's not really as catered to them with this. But then those that are the one that have goals on the board or are trying to achieve things, I would encourage more planning with their weeks. So to look at their week, look at their goals, where am I going to go? Where am I going to put my effort into? Where am I going to reduce my effort? Where am I going to structure my recovery? And base it on the goals. Because a 3 to 4 day training week is very different to a 5 to 6. For me, 4 days is like my perfect. I can get everything I want done in 4 days with training. And if I tried to do 6 days again, I would probably just cry, maybe. Maybe not, but the difference then is a 4 day athlete to a 6 day athlete, your recovery strategy is going to be different. Because 4 days you can have more recovery in there, more time. You can have more days off and you have less work to do overall. So for me, someone in a 4 day training cycle is going to have less of a chance of pushing it into that overreaching, overtraining than someone in that 6 days. So for someone on a 6 day, for example, I'm going to be encouraging way more auto-regulation with their training, and by auto-regulation, self-regulation of their intensities in their training than what I would for a 4 day. Because like 4 days, if you've got days off in between, that's pretty good for recovery. If you're training every day, you need to dial back some of those workouts and really rein it in and go, okay, today I'm here to move, it's easy money, I've got the goal days on the other days. And then how I do that is I used to program in the week, I would structure the days. So you'd usually have their strength or skill component to start with. And then for the workouts, I would write it as a red, orange, or green. So red's your intensity. So that's your 9 out of 10 RPE. Now intensity is dependent on time. So if you have Fran versus the 20-minute AMRAP at a red intensity, they're two very different things. And then learning that is a very important thing because obviously you can't work at a 4-minute 100% intensity for 20 minutes. So learning how to adjust your intensity based on time is a big one, and getting that across to people. Orange is your 7 out of 10, and then your green's your nice easy. So green, we should be able to have a conversation during the workout pretty easily. Orange, you're gonna be breathing a little bit heavier. And then your red is, you probably gonna tell me to beat it. Yeah, lost my train of thought on that one. Cool. So, some recovery methods, ice baths. Are they worth it? I know obviously a lot of you guys use the body emotion and the contrast. And at the end of the day, it's personal preference. Some of you love it, some of you don't. It's up to you if you want to do it. The best evidence we have is DOMS, so delayed onset muscle soreness. So if you want to take down that little bit of soreness in the muscle, that's going to be your best bet. However, the literature is a little bit, it's not great, but it's not terrible, like a lot of things. A lot of it's measured on subjective scales and blood markers rather than performance. But the stuff they did do on performance didn't really come across as a whole lot. So in terms of that aspect, if you're looking to then increase performance, it's not so good. And then one of the things is it may blunt muscle growth because it just slows down the inflammatory cycle, which occurs once you train and you create that micro damage to the muscles and that sort of stuff. So up to you. If you want to use it and you like it and you find it beneficial, use it 100%. Is it going to be the silver bullet that's going to stop you from being sore for the next 2 days? Probably not. There's nothing that's really going to do that. If you use contrast, which is hot to cold, no real great evidence to say that that's better than ice baths, sort of in that same thing, still has a moderate effect. And then for those that are professional athletes that are on that 1%er, they might get a bit more out of it. Whoops. Garmin's, whatever you're using. Who uses them? Does anyone use a Whoop? No. Oh, wow, that's wild. So they're good, they're useful, but for me, I find a lot of people, they live their life based off them. And they'll structure their training around it. In my old gym, they literally have a Whoop group. I think like Whoop, you can create group and you can see everyone's data of how their recovery is, how their sleep is. It's a little bit much for me. But that's like, yeah, people can become quite neurotic about it. And it's not really all that's cracked up to be. Like obviously advertising is really great and it tells you all of it. And then once they start showing NBA players, professional sports athletes, that really helps sell it. But the data collection is okay to a degree. So the major things with it is heart rate data gets muddied once it gets to higher intensity just because of the two sensors, how they use it. They start overlapping and it starts losing it. So when you track your workouts and you're getting those real high intensity things, you lose a little bit. Sleep, 60 to 75%. So it works backwards. So has anyone done a sleep study? Yeah? Did they do the EMGs on your head? Yeah. So that's how they measure is EMG activity on your brain with electrodes and stuff. This is measured on your watch. So it has to work backwards through your physiology to then chart your sleep. So if you've ever used it and you looked at it and you're like, I feel great, my Whoop says shit, or Garmin says rubbish, you can sort of start to see where it goes a little bit wrong with that. So for me, use it over long data, like use it as trending data over a long time rather than those singular things. Like they are good, but it's not like it says gospel. All right, take home points.